This is a fantastic little truck with one of the worst sitting positions I've ever had the displeasure of experiencing. This is a 2018 Toyota Tacoma. More specifically, this is a 2018 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road. This is not the full-on Pro, and this is not the basic SR5 or the work truck. You know, this is one that's near the top of the ladder without going crazy. Yet this one is very nearly as capable as that TRD Pro without spending TRD Pro money. So this is the one you should probably really be looking at. So what makes this one off-road? Well, it's got 16-inch wheels with big, meaty sidewall tires. It's got Bilstein shocks, and it's actually really nice and comfortable off-road. On the road, it's fine. It's a truck. Its steering's a little bit rubbery. Its brakes are adequate enough. There's not too much tire noise, which is nice. The ride's all right. As soon as you get into the dirt, you're like, oh, that's why I bought this. Because down this rutted road, it's fine. I hope I didn't kill that lizard. Down this rutted road, it's fine. It's comfortable. It's capable. There's a skid plate up front, so you're not going to smack around your undercarriage. Under the hood, we have a 3.5-liter V6 engine. It's the only engine you can get on the TRD off-road. It's making 278 horsepower and 265 pound-feet of the torques. And you can have tons of fun with it because this is the 6-speed automatic equipped one, which means it is a part-time or selectable 4-wheel drive system, which means we can put it in rear-wheel drive and do plenty of dumb stuff, which I really enjoy. Now, you can get this with a 6-speed manual gearbox, but that is 4x4 only. Additionally, if you get the manual, which does make better use of the engine's power band, you lose all of the different drive modes. This has a bunch of selectable drive modes that we've seen in other Toyota vehicles. It also has the low speed or speed adjustable crawl mode, which you put into that once you're in 4-wheel drive. You can only select those in 4-wheel drive. You cannot select them in 2-wheel drive. You put it into a various mode, and then the crawl mode, what it does is it modulates the throttle and the brake so that you can focus on driving if you're into some really hairy off-road stuff. Now, the different drive modes themselves, not the crawl mode, but the actual different drive modes, what those do is modulate throttle and brake pressure so that you can mitigate or work with the various wheel slip and wheel spin that's happening depending on the type of surface you're on. Now, I want to get back to what I was talking about in terms of ergonomics. It feels like you're sitting on the floor and then your legs are out straight. So if you're tall, this is dumb. Now, at the same time, I also feel like I'm looking down from like a high perch. It's a really weird seating arrangement. It makes no sense to me. When I first sat in this vehicle, I started laughing, and it wasn't we're in for fun times. It was, who designed this? There's no way that someone over 6 feet was like, oh yeah, let's make the cab this way. They'll love it. Because we don't. It's not good. This is a really good truck with a laughably bad seating layout. Now, on the TRD off-road, you also only get the double cab version, which is nice, you would think. There's not a ton of room back there. As far as double cabs go, this doesn't have that much room. There's some room, but there's not that much room. But when you do get the TRD off-road, you do get some nice features, which is good because you're spending more money. You get this great new screen. This is a really nice the premium Entune display here. Touch screen, but with actual dials for volume and changing tracks. It looks really nice. I like the blue accents on the buttons. It's a nice upgrade over what Toyota has offered in the past. In the center stack, there's another nice display which offers tons of great information, and it's really easy to read, and it looks nice and clean. The gauges themselves are fine. You know, the white typeface on the black font is fine and easy enough to read. So that's good. Now, I also like that they have the ECT power button, which you can use to make better use of this 6-speed automatic, because it's a 6-speed automatic that is at times confused. It doesn't fully always know which gear it wants to be in to make use of the power, especially on road where you're just kind of cruising and then you need to go to pass. It's going to get really loud, and it shouldn't need to downshift there because the available torque and horsepower should be enough to carry the truck past. But this thing goes, no, I need to scream. And then other times you call upon, it's like, oh man, I'm taking it easy right now. Can you give me a minute? It's just kind of a confused gearbox. But again, as soon as you get this thing off-road, that's where it just wakes up and shines, and you go, I get it. I get why people buy these. It's a great truck. You can have tons of fun in it and just fling it around. Now, for 2018, what they've done is they've added some more safety features, and then they've swapped around some of the color choices and then altered the grills a little bit. That's really all they've done for 2018. On the TRD Pro, they've switched to the Fox Racing internal bypass 2.5-inch reservoir suspension. So that is separating itself further from the TRD Off-Road. This is like basically a TRD Pro from a few years ago, because the TRD Pro for the future has gone even wilder for 2019. So the smart buy, if you're looking for a Tacoma, might be this one, and then if you need it to go more aggressive, just swap in more aggressive tires than the Goodyear Wranglers. You know, a set of KO2s will take you wherever you need to go, especially on those 16-inch wheels. And the Bilsteins are great at handling what you throw at it on this road. We've driven down this road in other vehicles, and I had to stop because it was so bumpy I couldn't talk. Here, I'm able to have a conversation, and you know, there's a truck in front of me, so I'm not hauling too much booty here. I'm not uncomfortable. You know, the ergonomics are a different question, but relative to the suspension. Now, I mentioned some great features on the inside. The seats themselves, the material is fine. You get an upgraded seat here in the TRD Sport and the TRD Off-Road. And this material is nice and supportive and nicely bolstered. I already talked about the Entune, but here in the TRD Off-Road, it comes with the upgraded premium audio system. And it sounds fine, no complaints there. One thing I really do like here, though, when you get the technology package that's available on this, is the QI wireless charging. I love wireless charging, especially now that Apple has finally caught up to Samsung and offers wireless charging on their newer model phones. So you slap your phone down there, even with the case on, it works through the case as long as it's thin enough, and your phone is just charging right there. But if you need to, like, say you're at a stoplight, you shouldn't look at your phone while you're driving. But if you had an emergency text that you just had to answer, or a celebrity liked one of your tweets that you really need to respond to, you know, you can grab it untethered from the wiring. Don't look at your phone while you're driving, seriously. Now, on the road, it's fine. Again, off-road is where it shines. On the road, it's fine. It's a truck. It's not like you're going to be like, oh man, I'm canyon carving in this thing. Now, styling-wise, it's a good-looking truck. It's like just a handsome truck. This gray paint looks wonderful. The bed out back is fairly useful. There's D-rings you can get. That's an optional extra for like $55. Just get them. There's a couple storage boxes. There's power back there. It's ready to accept anything for your towing needs. You're good to go back there. It's a smart looking, handsome truck. Some of you will gripe about the nose. I will agree with your arguments, but it doesn't bother me. Head on, it can get a little bit too much with the oversized grille, but in general, from most angles, this is a pretty sharp looking truck. The right wheel and tire package sets it off farther. You can add an exhaust to this and open up that noise, because there's some noise to be had out of that V6. I'm not like a huge praiser of V6 exhaust noise, but with the right exhaust, you can get a little bah, almost like a Baja Desert running sound. You're gonna pay for it though if you want that noise. But again, on-road manners. The steering is on center. It's pretty rubbery, but as soon as you dial in a little bit of angle, it wakes up a little bit. There's some lean, as you would expect of a vehicle with any sort of suspension travel, and it's welcome. You're going to need it off-road, and it's not too much. Like on the TRD Pro, it's a lot more nosedive and body roll, though those Fox shocks should help sort some of that out a bit more. But you can just you can still hustle it if you need to hustle it on a road like this. I don't know why you would, but if you're in your Tacoma and you're late for a very important date, you can step on it a little bit. The engine is responsive enough. Again, it helps to be an ECT power to make the best use of that, and the transmission hunts a little bit less for what gear. It just kind of holds the gears a bit better and just kind of wakes up and smartens up. Now, price. We've got to talk about price. Of course, I think it's too expensive. I think every vehicle is too expensive. The base price feels good at $36, but that's not really the TRD off-road base price, because that package is a few $1,000s. This one, as tested, is $41 because it has the TRD off-road stuff and the technology package, which you kind of want because it's dual zone climate control, and it's a few upgrades here and there, like the QI wireless charging that I mentioned. So just creature comforts that make your daily livability better. And it's only a few grand more, but it pushes it over 40. And then you're thinking, well, why don't I just get the TRD off-road? But that's not going to be as good in terms of fuel economy just because of the more aggressive tire and suspension setup. So you got to take that into consideration. It's just a shame that a truck like this is $41,000, $42,000. I would be singing the praises of this truck from the treetops, regardless of the seating situation, if this was a $33,000 truck. You know, fully loaded, $33,000, $32,000, but that's not what cars cost, and I really got to stop bringing it up every video. But it's hard not to. $41,000, $42,000 is wild. It's just wild to me. You should buy this. I would say wait and buy a used one of these, but Tacos hold their value so well, you're screwed anyway. If this thing had 5,000 miles on it, it would probably be like $38,000. It's crazy how well these hold their value. If I could have a business just exporting Tacomas to Hawaii, like rust-free frames to Hawaii, I would retire a wealthy man. Call me like the taco guy or something like that, even though I'm sure there's an actual taco guy who sells tacos. He should do it out of a Tacoma, really. It's a missed business opportunity. Maybe he's tall and he hates sitting in one of these. I don't know. Starting on a dusty hill. Hopefully we don't hit some rocks. We're about to get off some of this rutted stuff so the audio will improve. Oh, nice big dip here. Oh, and there goes my audio. Okay. With a laughably... This is a really good truck with a laughably bad... This is a really good truck with a This is a really good truck with a laughably... This is a really good truck with a laughably... This is a really good truck with a laughably bad seating layout. But, I mean, I'm not uncomfortable. Minus the ergonomics, I'm not uncomfortable relative to the suspension. I should be taking these sips.